Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Paint Fanfare. I'm Emmy, and today I'm going to talk to you about a movie I just watched last week for I don't know, the 17th time probably, Raya and the Last Dragon. There are so many things to say about this movie that I just absolutely adore, but besides the animation, the fantastic character development, the adorable characters, all the way to the incredibly complex issues of the psyche, this movie has everything I need. So the movie opens with a story about Kumandra, this beautiful fantasy land in which everything in the movie takes place about 500 years ago. The land was threatened by these monsters called Droon, who appeared we know not why at the beginning of the film, but the Droon are rapidly catching humans and turning them into stone statues. And they're also doing this to all the dragons. There are only 5 dragons left when they decide to come together and use their powers in order to banish the Droon from the realm. But of course, over time, Kumandra sort of crumbles. Of course, due to the nature of humanity, the humans devolve over time and become selfish and greedy, as everyone kind of wants control of the dragon gem, and they quickly break off into different factions of Kumandra. This is so cute to me. Every single region of this land is named after a part of a dragon. So you've got fang, heart, spine, tail, and talon. And I just thought that was such an adorable detail to add to a plot. Then in comes Raya and her quest to bring her people all back together in order to make Kumandra. I am a terrible judge of age when it comes to children. All I know is that she appears in the film as a younger girl. I'm gonna say maybe between the age of 10 and 13. And the movie introduces her as the guardian of the dragon gem, along with her father. And at the beginning of this film, they have this very in-depth conversation on the different regions of Kumandra and how they are all separate, but they should probably come together. There's this misconception that Heart, where Raya is from, since they have the dragon gem, it brings them naturally good fortune, which is not true. But Raya's father wants so badly to bring all of these people together and become one once more. I don't really want to go into too much detail after this of what happens to Raya because I don't want to spoil anything, but suffice it to say that something horrible happens, the dragon gem gets broken, and everyone splits apart, and when the dragon gem breaks, the Droon come back to Kumandra, and it's horrible. They're horrible. They're just these shadow beasts that they come at the people and they just turn them into statues, and it's super creepy. Bravo, because that is some real creepy action right there. But I did take some notes on some of my favorite things about this movie. First of all, Raya has this insane commitment to finding the last dragon, Sisu. There is an old legend that says that Sisu ended up at the end of one of the fingers of the river, but there are hundreds of options of where she could have gone. So this is all based on the hopes of this legend being true, but Raya goes through the struggle of trying to track down this dragon by visiting every single river. That is an insane amount of commitment. That's a lot of faith. I also wanted to make a comment on the character design of these beautiful creatures. There are small imperfections in each character, and it makes them so much more endearing than the perfection of a symmetrical face. One of them has a front tooth that's bigger than a different front tooth, and they're just so lovable for that reason. Due to a betrayal that Raya faced as a young girl, and now we're going, I think, 6 years in the future, Raya develops this very serious and disturbing trust issue. She thinks, based off of the one experience and one of the most important experiences of her life, that she cannot trust anyone. And that quickly becomes a very pointed issue throughout the film, which I found so cool. This is a real issue, and this is a difficult issue to get past. You can't just go, oh, okay, well, I don't like this flaw about myself. I'm gonna just start trusting people one day. It's complex, and Raya has to go through a lot in order to get herself past that trust issue, in order to become a more complete person. Another thing I wanted to point out is I absolutely love the Khan baby. She is so cute. Oh my god, I love her. Noi is her name. And she comes with these 3 Ongis that are a monkey-like companion, I guess. Really, all the characters that Raya ends up meeting and joining up with are very well thought out. They have their own flaws, their own goals, their own pain, their own desires. I just feel like this movie is fleshed out so magnificently. And with the theme of the movie, it makes you ask the question, who is the real enemy here? Are the Droon really the only enemy? This horrible race of shadow monsters that simply want the destruction of all humanity? Or is it the people and their lack of compassion, their lack of trust, their lack of empathy, lack of understanding? And I think that is an intricacy that isn't dealt with a lot in animation or cartoons, especially when it comes to making these for children. It's a step deeper into the Disney princess mindset. Yes, there's usually a bad guy out there who has a goal that's completely opposite from the protagonist, but I think people in general are the issue because everyone has their own opinion, their own mindset, their own goals. And I really want to applaud them for taking the time to really flesh out this fantastic story. Another super cool tidbit from the movie is the fighting. Raya uses a variety of different styles in her fighting, which I actually know nothing about. I've just done research on this. It seems she uses styles such as Pencak Silat from Indonesia, Muay Thai from Thailand, and Arnis from the Philippines, which is her using the two-stick fighting maneuvers, which is super cool. And it's very fluid movement that feels flawed, which is important to be convincing because nobody moves like a robot. You could see the emotion through her fighting. You could see when she was feeling desperation or anger. You could see when she was kind of having fun. You could see when she was happy. Those little details are always infinitely impressing to me when it comes to animation. Animation will always hold a special place in my heart, and this movie is absolutely no different. Again, not wanting to give away too many spoilers, but there is a scene where Raya's trust in Sisu is tested, and she fails that test. And I think this was the jumping off point for her to learning to trust and learning that it's a good thing and it's okay to put your heart out there. And I'm not embarrassed to say that when the climax happens and when Raya has finally learned that lesson and it finally sinks in, she does give her trust to someone she never thought she could trust. And she takes an absolute complete leap of faith. And every time I've seen this part of the movie, I bawl like a little baby. Because I think we've all been there. We've all been there in those moments when we have to learn a really hard lesson and it's taken this long road. And you see it all culminate in that character in that one moment. And she decides, you know what? That one experience is not going to define my decision making any longer. And when she makes that decision, of course the others follow, which is integral to the storyline. There is also this quote from the character named Tong in the movie that just... God, it makes me laugh so hard. At some point he says, "Your fear is like delectable nectar feeding the tum-tum of my soul. It's good. Tastes like mango." Oh, it's so outrageous. Overall, I just want to say that this movie was spectacular for me. Definitely gonna give it 5 full paintbrushes, baby. Awkwafina, who plays the role of Sisu, is just entertaining beyond belief. She is... I think she might be a real dragon. Oh, God, it's so beautiful. And hats off to Kelly Marie Tran for playing Raya. That character will always hold a special place in my heart. I feel you, girl, on them lessons. I feel ya. Some of that stuff is really hard. Also, fun fact, Raya is only the 3rd Disney princess to be a completely original character. She's not based off of anything outside of this movie. They just came up with this concept, and here she is. Before her, it was Merida from Brave, and then Moana. I also loved that there was no love interest in this movie. I grew up on Beauty and the Beast and The Little Mermaid, Pocahontas, Snow White. You know, all of those movies where the love interest was the main drive of the plot, and, you know, I spent a good portion of my young adult life mirroring that. And I think it's really important for especially young girls to know that your life should not revolve around finding a love interest. Go out there, figure out who you are, and then pursue that other part of yourself. Nothing sucks worse than falling in love while you're still a completely broken and unassembled human being. Because then the person you fall in love with gets to know this shell of a human being before it's complete. I digress. I've been doing that a lot lately, sorry guys. But anyway, of course I had to paint a picture of Sisu because she is the star. Well, I mean, of course, next to Raya. Sisu's character to me, I relate to the most. I relate to her because I feel I give a lot of myself, and I like to give trust without the expectation of trust being given back in return, because then it feels, when the trust is given back, it was earned. And I take trust very seriously. It's incredibly important for any relationship, any friendship, any family members, any romantic relationship you can have. And that's why I think I relate to Sisu so much. So I decided to paint her this week. Of course it didn't turn out perfect, but you know what? I am not mad about it. I like where this dragon ended up. Of course, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell for more notifications when I post new videos. Don't forget to check out emmysartstuff.com in order to see all of the prints I have available on there for you. And also follow me on Instagram at emmysartstuff. If you have a movie you want me to review, go ahead and leave it down in the comments below and I'll see what I can do. Of course, thanks for joining me as always on this episode of Paint Fanfare, and you have a lovely day. As always, stay creative.